Hey you guys, it's MJ from Ulta Love. Once again, not sure what happened, but my camera just cut out. Actually, I'm pretty excited because I'm getting a new camera, which means I'm going to be probably posting less, but higher quality and a little bit more focused content with you guys. So definitely, I'm being guided to withdraw more and focus more on the quality, which is great, which makes perfect sense. So this share is about Zenful Zero Waste, a course, an online course that's pioneered by my fellow Team Love member, Katie Finch. We did a video together from Bali last November about her anxiety, her journey, her transformation. Her and I met in February 2017, and both of our lives have completely transformed and by working together and assisting one another in expanding the Ulta Love mission. And her part of her massive passion and piece here is that she's transformed her life and become zero waste, low waste. This is why we call it Zenful, okay? Because we have to find a balance between not becoming these like preachy, self-absorbed, higher than mighty people. Like we see sometimes the radical vegan movement or any of this stuff where, or any kind, even spirituality, right? We get into spiritual circles and suddenly we're fucking holier than thou and we're way better than everybody else who drinks or everybody else who still eats meat. Oh my God, you're so disgusting, right? And that's not Ulta Love at all. Like the Ulta Love mission has literally transformed my life where I'm just all I can do is share in the moment in presence of like the gift of what's in my heart. And as I've opened my heart to receive more and be more and share more, all these amazing fucking pioneers and people are entering my life that have a whole lot to share. And really it's been this journey for her of sort of a little bit unconscious to the waste issue and then totally transforming her life after seeing, basically we went to Indonesia and like if different places in the world, our trash pile up and the pollution in our ocean is just so freaking obvious that it can be quite startling. And Katie was somebody who didn't just turn a blind eye. She endeavored to completely become zero waste, right? To not be yet another person who's creating more of an issue, right? Who's just creating more of a problem. So it's this whole thing of be the change. This is what the course series is about. Be the Change course series is kicking off with zero waste. And it's just so evident and obvious right now that people are yearning for change and desiring for change. And all this spiritual stuff, all this law of attraction stuff is almost being it can almost be another distraction to just us being change makers on a day-to-day basis. How do we fucking affect change? We be the change. And that means on a day-to-day basis, how we're consuming and how we're behaving and how we're acting, all of that shifts and morphs and changes. So no longer are we in this time where we're expecting all of these corporations and these people, that all that is being blown open, right? What we're having to face is actually the darker underlying corruption that feeds this blind consumerist society, right? That we're all a part of. So there's no point in fighting against it. There's no point in demonizing it or making it, oh, it's so blah, 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 like we're all just humans and we're waking up to this greater sense of responsibility and this greater belief that we can be more joyful. But for me personally, my joy comes from affecting positive change. My joy has never come necessarily from quick fix or from instantaneous pleasure. And if anything, what I'm doing now is really ridding that energy from my life. Self-serving individuals or people who say one thing and then behave another way, or people who say they know what they want and then that's not at all how they behave, right? So feeling in and navigating and discerning energies of clarity and alignment is the most important thing for me right now. And affecting positive change in people's lives has to be very direct and practical. So I'm super, super excited to boom, to drop this zero waste bomb on you guys and to properly share the beauty that is Katie Finch with you. And I'll keep sharing because basically I'm like, Katie, I need to do the zero waste course because I need help with it, and then after we launch Zero Waste, we're endeavoring to launch Freedom Unplugged, and we're then launching Simplified Spirituality or Spirituality Simplified to basically just offer you guys like the legit breakdown of my 15, like from being a 19-year-old kid, having these crazy spontaneous spiritual awakenings, finding Eckhart Tolle, buying one-way ticket to England, just literally being guided by my intuition. And then all of these years later, having read a great deal of esoteric wisdom and different, religious philosophy, a different conspiracy theory and different YouTube rabbit holes, and so many different books about like law of attraction and about ancient teachings, about aliens, vibration, all of this kind of stuff, right? And then writing the Fearless Life Guide. So now I'm gonna like extract the juiciest nuggets, like what I feel are the most practical, relevant, and real for people in their day-to-day life, and then that will be the course of the Simplified Spirituality, or Spirituality Simplified. I haven't classified that yet. And then we're gonna launch a course in the new year about helping you guys go vegan. This isn't us being like nutritionally sound at all. This is just us being like, when you live from the heart, it's like your physical body can literally rise above all the old conditioning around like protein deficient and because your cellular body is actually functioning on a higher frequency. And so and it is a transition though, because you actually have to face density patterns around food and around your body and around like what you think you need and what's good and bad and what's right and wrong. There's a whole transformation around our physicality and around the relationship with our body when we transform the relationship we have with food, especially when we're coming from the heart. So really, veganism in the all to love perspective has very little to do with like nutrition and like looking a certain way or whatever, or like even being healthy necessarily. Veganism from my point of attraction is purely like compassion. It's the fact that in my heart of hearts, I don't want to create suffering for another human, another being, a sentient being. I don't want to slaughter, mass raise, and then slaughter these innocent beings. That really, really, really doesn't align with me. And then when you do a bit of studying around the meat industries and stuff like that, you'll find that they're incredibly destructive for our environment. And it's just kind of barbaric and old school. It's like gladiator time. It's like really like, it just, I know it's not like, I never want to make people feel bad, but I'm just like, come on, like, and so many of you, like the majority, a lot of people I talk to are like, oh my God, I don't want to watch that documentary. I don't want to, oh my God, it's a dead carcass. I'm like, yeah, that's your fucking bacon. Wake up. And if you can't deal with how that mode of consumption affects your heart, then you need to make the change, because those like, I don't wanna face it. That energy, that entitlement, that privilege is so much a part of our economic issues, our environmental issues, and just our human sickness and our human dis-ease, right? It's because we're just, I don't want to look at anything. It's like, we got to get really fucking real about like, one, there's a whole bunch of like backlog and issues that we have to start to lift the lids on, and then two, we as beings have to become self-responsible. And the self-responsibility is really truly just about how you're shining light and present with how you feel and how you think. As if we can start to get clear about how we feel and we think, because I can honestly say, you guys, as I continue to endeavor this conscious transformation, I started it way back when, like love and light and peace on earth and all this beautiful stuff, and I'm still transforming cellular fucking density of hatred and mistrust and contempt for my fellow humanity. And so part of me sharing on this level is to be like legit truthful, is that the ascension just becomes more embodied, more powerful, more hardcore, but the transformation of density doesn't necessarily end, certainly not probably in our lifetime. I would say that this is just the lifelong mission now, is just keep transforming the cellular density, keep rising up, keep vibrating higher and higher and higher, and stay the course. Stay the course, be steady. Be vigilant with how we're pioneering the new paradigm, because our new paradigm, guys, how it looks is a clean, sustainable planet. So we have a little bit of fucking trash to shift if we want to really keep envisioning and expanding the higher technology, the higher wisdom, the more advanced human inventions that's going to help us continue to clear up the backlog and then pioneer the new perspective. And again, it's not kumbaya utopia. It's literally a more advanced human. We are the most advanced technology on this planet. As we evolve and advance our own consciousness, then we become the new technology, not AI. No, none of that. That is not the path. The path is our own expansion. The path is our own ascension into a higher vibrational frequency and a higher perspective that allows us to birth and see and create a new reality. Hey guys, guess what? It starts with you going to the west. I know, but you know what I mean. I'm like, I just think these courses are going to offer people like direct access. Like you start making little changes in your life, boom, higher consciousness. You become more aware. And I know it's brutal and it's relentless because literally I started all this spirituality stuff because I hated myself and I hated my body. I just thought if I could just be skinny, then everything will be fine. Well, now I've achieved my like a desired skinny body state that I've always known is real and true for me. But now there's now the whole world. Now it's like, oh, I can improve this area of my life, and I can improve this area of my life, and I can keep up leveling every area of my existence, and it is juicy, and it's super exciting, and I would never go back, but it's also relentless. And maybe very very briefly there are times where I wish I could go back to ignorance because sometimes I look at people and think, God damn it, as I'm like sitting in the depth of my emotional stew, I'm just like, oh God, I wish I could go back to like what normal is, like what the fuck, what is normal anyway. But I wish I could, but then I don't really want to because I feel so good in my body, and that's like the reward in and of itself is just like feeling in my body, feeling inspired, knowing that I'm sharing the truth of my own heart in any given moment, and I'm not even attached to it. I'm not attached to the outcome. I don't need or want for anything from anyone, so I'm just completely self-sustainable inside myself. Loads of love, loads of love. Oh, by the way, how cool is this jacket? Woo! I got it secondhand. That's another zero waste. That's like my little piece of the zero waste nugget is being. I've been sustainable shopping, like basically don't buy anything new and haven't done for well over 6 years now. And so it's just eBay, charity shops, and vintage, and like people giving me stuff. And I try, even when I'm buying like vintagey charity shit, I try to buy stuff that I know is like handmade and like made in England. So this is like a proper old school, like I don't know, probably made in like the 60s or 70s, made in England, like old school brand. It feels like 70s to me. Plus brown, layering brown is apparently like the new fashion. Because I'm totally up on that shit, you guys. I am. I watched a girl named Justine Leconte. She's like, "Hello, I'm Justine." I'm just like, "Yes, Justine, tell me what I should wear because I need a bit of fashion advice to be with it, with the cool kids, you know." But I actually, she gives some juicy stuff around fashion, and I like her vibe, so it's good to go. Anyway, you guys, it's time. It's time to rise. It's time to dissolve and transform the greed and corruption on this planet and rise in loving unity. Fucking badass loving unity, though. None of this wishy-washy, airy-fairy, fluffy fucking bullshit. Okay, we got to get real inside our heart of love and divine love and compassion, which means I can love even the darkest of the dark. Yeah, and so can you, and so can you, and so can you, and so can we all. We just have forgotten. We just forgot at some point that we are these incredibly powerful beings. Incredibly powerful. We've gotten the power lightness to transform the most devilish of evils. Yep, there we go. That's the moment. That's the moment where it's time to shut it off because I'm starting to get annoyed with the sound of my own voice. So I hope that was useful to you guys. Maybe even a little entertaining. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's all good to go because life is eternal. I love you guys. Have an awesome day. Peace out, mofo lovers.